When Highlander hit theaters in 1986, it brought sword fights, immortals, and the unforgettable line, "There can be only one." Though it wasn't a box office smash, the film grew into a cult classic, spawning sequels, a TV series, novels, and a loyal fan base that still quotes it today. But behind the misty landscapes and electrifying battles were stories just as fascinating as the film itself. From strange casting choices to dangerous stunts, the making of Highlander was almost as legendary as the movie's immortal warriors. So let's travel back to the 1980s and uncover 10 behind-the-scenes secrets you didn't know about Highlander. 1. Christopher Lambert. Barely spoke English. When French actor Christopher Lambert was first cast as the immortal Highlander Conor MacLeod, there was one major challenge. He barely spoke any English. At the time, Lambert knew just enough to get by, but not enough to comfortably perform complex dialogue. To make it work, he learned much of his script phonetically, memorizing the sounds of the words without always fully grasping their meaning in the moment. Instead of being a weakness, this gave his performance a strangely fitting quality. His accent, cadence, and slightly distant delivery made Conor feel different from everyone around him, timeless, foreign, and not quite of this world. What could have been a limitation turned into one of the most memorable aspects of the character, helping to define the Highlander's mystique for fans.
Don't you ever follow me again. You only have one life, you value it.
But while Lambert struggled with words, another cast member dominated with sheer presence. 2. Sean Connery filmed his role in just 1 week. Sean Connery, who portrayed the flamboyant mentor Juan Sanchez Villalobos-Ramírez, was on set for a surprisingly short time. Because of his packed schedule and a massive paycheck that reportedly cost the production around $1 million, Connery shot all of his scenes in just 7 days. Despite this whirlwind schedule, his larger-than-life presence and natural authority gave the character a lasting impact far beyond his screen time. His chemistry with Christopher Lambert sold the idea of a centuries-old warrior passing down wisdom to a younger immortal. Many fans are shocked when they revisit the film and realize how little he actually appears, considering how unforgettable he is.
Now for the last. Trust me.
And speaking of limited time, the production faced other pressures. 3. The sword fights were dangerous. Choreographing immortal duels was no easy task. The swords were real steel with special modifications, and sparks were created by wiring them to car batteries. This made for dramatic visuals, but it was also dangerous. Actors risked shocks and injuries with every clash, and sparks weren't the only unexpected element during filming. 4. The production faced bad weather in Scotland. Many of the film's most unforgettable moments were brought to life in the breathtaking Scottish Highlands, a landscape that perfectly captured the timeless feel of the story. But filming there wasn't easy. The cast and crew faced relentless rain, dense fog that rolled in without warning, and winds so strong they could knock equipment over. These harsh conditions slowed production and often forced last-minute changes to the shooting schedule. For the actors, especially during the elaborate sword fights, the weather turned every scene into a test of endurance. Wet, slippery ground and freezing temperatures made it dangerous to swing heavy blades, but the struggle added a raw intensity that made the battles feel authentic. The wild, unforgiving setting became as much a character in the film as the immortals themselves.
The boy is mine.
Still, not everything was a struggle. Sometimes, the magic came from music. 5. Queen created the soundtrack. Almost by accident. The legendary band Queen originally wrote Princes of the Universe for the film, but after seeing early footage, they were inspired to contribute more songs. Their music added epic energy, and tracks like Who Wants to Live Forever became just as iconic as the movie itself. But while the soundtrack soared, other parts of production caused tension. 6. Christopher Lambert injured a crew member during filming. Because Christopher Lambert was extremely nearsighted, filming action scenes often became more dangerous than anyone expected. He usually performed without glasses or contacts since they didn't fit the period setting, which meant he could barely see during the intricate sword choreography. This sometimes caused close calls, including one moment where he swung his blade far too close to his opponent, resulting in a minor injury. The incident wasn't serious, but it was a wake-up call for the cast and crew. They realized how risky each fight truly was, especially with heavy, sharp-edged props in unpredictable environments. Despite the hazards, Lambert's commitment to performing without visual aids added an authentic intensity to the duels, as if MacLeod himself was fighting through both physical and personal challenges. The risk paid off, giving Highlander's battles their raw, unpredictable energy, and he wasn't the only one pushing himself to the limit. 7. Clancy Brown scared everyone as the Kurgan. Clancy Brown's portrayal of the menacing Kurgan was so convincing that even when the cameras weren't rolling, some crew members kept their distance. His booming voice, towering presence, and unnerving commitment to the role made him genuinely intimidating to be around. During rehearsals, that intensity sometimes spilled over, most notably when he accidentally injured Christopher Lambert with his sword in a fight scene. The injury wasn't life-threatening, but it highlighted just how physical and risky the film's swordplay could be. Brown never broke character easily, and that edge gave his villain an unpredictable, almost feral energy. The Kurgan became a terrifying counterbalance to Lambert's heroic Connor, and many fans still argue that Brown's unhinged performance stole the film. His larger-than-life presence turned what could have been a typical villain into one of the most unforgettable antagonists of 1980s cinema. But while the villains looked scary, some behind-the-scenes moments were unintentionally funny. 8. Sean Connery and Christopher Lambert became fast friends. Despite Connery's brief time on set, he and Lambert built a strong friendship. Connery offered Lambert advice on acting, sword handling, and even handling the media. Their off-screen bond helped make their mentor-student relationship feel authentic on screen.
The last was Shikiko, a Japanese princess.
And authenticity mattered, especially when it came to costumes. 9. The wardrobe caused unexpected problems. From traditional kilts to heavy leather armor, the costumes in Highlander were built for cinematic style rather than practical comfort. Christopher Lambert frequently voiced his frustration with how cumbersome the outfits were, especially during intense sword-fighting sequences where every movement required precision. The weight of the armor restricted his agility, making already dangerous stunts even more difficult. Sean Connery, on the other hand, was given an elaborate, aristocratic wardrobe to highlight his character's flair and history. While visually stunning on camera, his clothing demanded constant adjustments from the costume department, slowing down the pace of filming. The combination of striking designs and the challenges they caused showed just how much the filmmakers prioritized spectacle, though it came at the expense of the actors' comfort and efficiency. But in the end, all the struggles were worth it, because 10. Nobody expected it to become a cult classic. When Highlander first hit theaters in the United States, it struggled to make an impact. Overshadowed by bigger releases and weighed down by mixed reviews, it looked like the film would fade into obscurity. But outside the US, audiences responded differently. International markets embraced the film's mix of myth, swordplay, and Queen's unforgettable soundtrack. The turning point came with the home video boom. On VHS rental shelves, Highlander found the audience it had missed in theaters. Word of mouth spread quickly, and what had once been labeled a box office flop began to transform into a cult sensation. Over the years, the film's fan base only grew larger, with repeat viewings cementing its unique style and story in pop culture. In the end, immortality didn't just belong to MacLeod and the other immortals, it belonged to the film itself. Outro. And there you have it. 10 behind-the-scenes secrets about Highlander, 1986. From dangerous sword fights to Queen's unforgettable soundtrack, the movie's journey was filled with as much drama as the immortals it portrayed. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more nostalgic deep dives. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite moment from Highlander? Or which 80s classic should I cover next?